All right, welcome to Menu Heroes Digest, the only show where we're the show.
Yeah. And that cool, that sweet Charizard Blastoise poster. Yeah. It's practically family.
So, we've got a show today.
Yes.
That's full of D&D and beyond.
Oh, man, don't we ever.
So, we usually cover video games. Of course, we love D&D, so...
Oh, yeah. So that seems fitting. And plus, this is still the beginning of the year, so not a whole lot has come out news-wise.
Yeah. So, we'll just go ahead and get started with Ubisoft.
Yes.
So, Ubisoft is currently working on Assassin's Creed Mirage. This is a spin-off that's supposed to be smaller and more, quote, intimate than previous Assassin's Creed. They said that part of the reasoning for making this game is that fans grew tired of the giant open-world aspects of Assassin's Creed. And I mean, the last couple games have been pretty huge.
Well, I don't think it's really the open world that's the problem. It's the fact that they made them so quickly, and they have so many glitches is the big reason why.
Well, part of it is also, like, legitimately, the worlds were too big. And that has been a complaint. Because it's easy to lose focus on the story with a world that big. Plus, you can have these big worlds, and they're populated with basically nothing.
Yes, but
But yes, the speed is also a huge issue.
Yes. Speaking as someone who was beginning Assassin's Creed back in the day, played a lot of the first two, a lot. It did start to get it became exhausting when a new game came out every single year, And the thing that really was like the big jump the shark moment for the franchise was that one heist. I think it was either the ancient Greece. No, actually, the ancient Greece was fine. But there was like one that was set around like the 1700s with pirates and everything.
Black Flag.
That one had so many glitches, and the internet was just chock full of images and clips of some of the crazy, weird glitches that game had. It really took a hit to the franchise. Because everybody's like, okay, you guys are not... This whole new game a year thing needs to stop. And at least for a while, it's been a while since there's been a new Assassin's Creed game, so at least they've taken a bit of a break from the franchise. So, good step there, but again, like, just whatever you're doing, make sure it's complete. That's all we fans want. Because there's a lot of stuff to the concept of Assassin's Creed, the whole, I guess, just so much of it that is, that is amazing, and like, don't ruin it. Don't mess it up. Like that should be the bare minimum for any franchise. Don't mess it up, please.
And there's also been a desire, besides glitchless games, for a more character-driven story again, akin to the early installations. Or installments, rather. That's the right word. And that was cited as a reason for how they're developing Mirage. And like the earlier Assassin's Creed games, you're going to be an actual assassin. The game is going to take place in the 13th century in the Middle East. So Prince of Persia, right?
I mean, I think it's going back to what the original game was all about, because it was about the Templar, basically this conflict going on, and I believe, well, it's definitely like the Middle East, with like, knights from England coming in, trying to like
ruin everything.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah, and Templar were meant to at least like help protect. At least the Templar were like, pretending to care about what the people wanted and help save the people, but like they were all really after themselves. But hey, if you're going back to basics, that's fine. Yes, that's this thing is just every game franchise.
Have a complete game.
Yes, yes. I know that's hypocritical of me because I keep playing Pokemon Violet nonstop, and there is Not as many glitches as there was before, but like it's the lighting glitches that still get me. Like, what was it? Is it middle of the day? Is it afternoon? Is it twilight? What's going on with the lighting here?
Yeah. You really see it in battles,
Yeah.
especially. That's when it's the most glaringly bad.
Yep.
So, speaking of battles,
Mm-hmm.
Mortal Kombat 2. Y'all remember that game and how it was terrible and awful? And I'm just kidding. I'm just being a butt. So, Mortal Kombat, in case you missed it, is one of his favorite series. Well, any fighting game is basically green pastures for Jordan.
I have a soft spot for fighting games, and I spend too much of my time looking up fighting game lore, even though most people only care about the super moves or the fatalities, especially with Mortal Kombat.
I wouldn't say it's a waste of time. I mean, I did a video about solar panels and gaming.
Yeah.
And, that's been one of our most popular videos as of late.
Nice.
I have another video planned. I just gotta write it.
I need to actually write my stuff because I keep telling you I'm gonna do stuff, and then I don't really do it. So.
But anyway, you want to take the lead for this one?
Yes. So basically, I need to look up the actual names of these, but basically, a bunch of leaks came out that were from the source code of Mortal Kombat 2. One of the best Mortal Kombat games out there. Mainly against the source code, sprites, and like little gifs and everything that are from the original source. At least they were out on the internet for a while. Mainly they were available on GitHub. Unfortunately, right now they are gone because Warner Brothers Studios, their lawyers has made a swift DMCA takedown.
Which they're in their legal right to do.
And yes, they are. And with Warner Brother Gaming's, how they are so tight, they have such a tight grip on the Mortal Kombat franchise. In like there's been attempts to try and remake and up the sprites of the first 3 Mortal Kombat games by fans. Warner Brothers Games has just taken down quickly.
And they'd be able to complete these projects if news sites wouldn't report on them.
Yeah, why you got narc on us, dude?
Well,
I mean, why you got narc on them?
That's a big thing. If you're making a fan game and somebody writes a report about it and it goes around the internet, of course the game is going to get taken down, or you're going to get a cease and desist notice because it's gotten so much publicity. That's why you don't tell anyone if you're working on a fan game until it's ready.
Don't be a narc. Let us fans have our little underground little remakes, okay? Because some fans, some fans do better remaking games than some of the official studios. Let's be real.
Yeah.
So basically, over at the GitHub posts, it was much of the sprites and everything was uploaded on the internet hosting server on December 27th before getting reshared on the r/Mortal Kombat subreddit. Mortal Kombat 2's entire source code is no longer available thanks to DMCA takedown. Certainly, it has not stopped MK fans from re-uploading sprites and artwork on social media.
Of course not.
And basically, yes, this is one YouTuber did a whole 3-hour commentary on the different sprites they were able to download and able to copy onto their servers and everything. I'm trying to find the name of it because well, actually, I got the. Yes, I didn't watch the whole thing. I mean, that's 3 hours. I don't have time for that. But hey, it was pretty interesting finding all the different sprites. I definitely got to the part where there was going to be some new moves for Johnny Cage, certain super punch moves that could actually cancel certain air moves and everything. The YouTube channel is The Drusus. TEHDREWSUS. I guess it's The Drusus. I don't know. But yeah, that's where you can get a whole 2 hours and 40 minutes of the various sprite work and artwork that they're able to save onto their computer. Very fascinating, how you were last week talking about your favorite thing is learning the different consoles. Mm-hmm. I find how sprite work is made, or what certain save files are for certain especially like sprite games or like 2D games that were done for arcade or the consoles at the time. I find those stuff pretty interesting. At least like how you able to capture the movement of characters through certain images. It's almost like animation, or it is animation.
It is animation. It's very cool.
Yeah. So as I said, I felt the story pretty interesting. Certainly, like there's like alternate artwork for Shao Kahn and his second in command Kintaro for Mortal Kombat 2 that I thought looks actually better than some of the original Mortal Kombat 2 stuff. Which, hey, Mortal Kombat 2 still one of the best Mortal Kombats, actually one of the best fighting games in general. But it is always looking at the what ifs. Like with Pokemon, there was so many like alternate artwork and designs for alternate Pokemon for Gen 1 and Gen 2. It is kind of weird that like some of those were thrown out, or at least were changed the way they were. And it's always like, man, that could have been cool if they'd kept that, or you're hoping they could bring that stuff back, In a way.
Yeah.
So.
And some fans have, made them into actual Pokemon for ROM hacks. It's very impressive.
Yeah.
The whole ROM hacking community is impressive.
Yeah.
So, Hateful Conduct. Isn't that fun? So, usual story. A Twitch star got banned from Twitch temporarily for conducting hatefully.
Mm-hmm. So another Tuesday, right?
Another Tuesday, except that this was an AI VTuber. Now, in case you missed it, a VTuber is someone who uses an anime model, like a 3D rig, instead of their actual face. And besides that, they're just like a regular Twitch streamer. Most of the time, it's a human behind the mask. In this case, it's an actual AI, so it's like a legitimate anime character. And so this is Neurosama. And the channel, as of Wednesday of this past week, is currently offline for 2 weeks. It's not immediately clear why it's been shut down this time, except a vague hateful conduct statement. But in the past, and it's not funny, but it is kind of funny, because it's just so horrible. It's kind of like, uh-oh. So, early on, a user asked the AI about the Holocaust, and it replied with, "I'm not sure if I believe it."
There it is.
After this, the creator of the AI immediately worked to improve the chat filters of the Twitch channel and Neurosama's responses in order to avoid similar, issues in the future.
Yep.
So, some of the questions she usually gets are rants about how she smells bad or her favorite kind of weed. It's kind of crazy. AI is this big thing where it's, it's cool, but it's also scary. Like, I recently read about the ChatGPT, the chatbot that's currently going around making the rounds, and how it stopped learning stuff in 2021. That was its cutoff for education. And it was asked who the CEO of Twitter was, and it said Elon Musk is the CEO of Twitter. However, Elon Musk was not the CEO until 2022. In 2021, it was Jack Dorsey, until he stepped down and somebody else whose name I just can't remember stepped up. And the AI bot knew this, but it said Elon Musk was the CEO. Now, it's probably learned some things from when it's been tweaked by the staff. And it did mention that it, said it based on predictions. Elon had said a lot of stuff about buying Twitter, or a lot of people were like, hey, you should buy Twitter. It's still a little harrowing.
Thanks a lot for that.
It's still a little harrowing for it to get that right, when you consider the fact that it was asked who the ruling monarch of the UK was, and it said, as of 2021, Queen Elizabeth, but in 2022 she passed away and Prince Charles III came to power. And it's like, hold on, your cutoff date was 2021. You're not supposed to know that. And it's like, that's kind of creepy, but okay.
Well, here's the thing.
I'm sure
Now,
you have thoughts about it.
See, I remember back when AI was starting to become news, when we were thinking like, oh my god, we're living in the future. AI is a real thing, you know? And I couldn't remember the name of the AI that first became like well known, became publicly known. But it was a female AI, or like she was given a name. And she was meant to scan through all the stuff on the internet, on certain forums and everything, and make responses. Well, it didn't take for long for her to start making racist and homophobic and various like awful comments and harassing people online, into which the creators had to basically delete her. So that was already a sign that told me, yeah, we're not ready for AI. We are absolutely not ready for this. So the fact that like somebody's trying to make a purely AI generated Twitch streamer and everything, this is not shocking news to me, because it's telling me that AI is learning the wrong things, learning about the worst things about humanity, and are twisting it back on us.
I will say, it is entirely possible the creator did not program the AI to recognize the phrase Holocaust, and thus the AI did not know how to react, so it just picked a default phrase such as "I don't believe in it." Given the context, what do you believe about the Holocaust?
Okay.
That said,
was this programmer? Did this person live outside the United States?
I don't believe so.
Okay. I know things are very iffy in Japan about that kind of stuff. I mean, granted, you can...
I don't think he's Japanese.
Alright, so I didn't mean to assume that, but my first thought was, do they even teach much about the Holocaust? I mean, do they even teach much about what happened in World War I and World War II in Japan? Probably not, maybe not. But, I feel like unfortunately, I feel like you would have to be prepared for your AI that you're letting out into the internet, to where all the worst case scenarios that could happen, and prepare your AI, considering what happened beforehand with there being AI that absorbed many hateful comments and just started spewing out hateful comments out on forums and message boards and what have you.
Yeah, but again, I'm just saying, it's possible. I doubt the creator intended. In fact, the creator did not intend for this AI to be racist, and that's where we make tweaks and we,
And I am glad they're improving. I'm glad they found a problem. Found a problem maybe a little too late, but thankfully they are working on that. Unfortunately, this is a lesson to be learned for anybody working on AI. You've got to think about the worst case scenario, what possible things your AI could be thinking or saying, and you've got to make, precautions to prevent this kind of thing from happening, especially if you're planning on your AI being shown around the public, like on Twitch.
And this is where AI gets into a shaky territory, because, it's very shaky ethically, because you're basically creating a form of life, and it's possible AI could form a sort of sentience in the future.
I mean, we've been making sci-fi movies.
We've been making sci-fi, yeah. We've been paranoid about it forever.
Yeah.
But it's, I kind of doubt it's going to be exactly like it's pictured in sci-fi. I feel like it'd be more of a gradual thing. And by the time, AI actually was controlling everything, we either wouldn't notice or wouldn't care.
It's gonna,
or it would be too late.
I think if anything, it's gonna be more like The Matrix. And I don't want to be one of those guys like certain...
We're living in a simulation.
Yeah, I don't want to be those jerks and everything, but if AI is going to take over and overthrow humanity, it's going to be similar to The Matrix.
What do you mean, if? It's already taken over.
Yeah, don't do that. Don't.
Do we want to talk about this?
Briefly.
Briefly, okay.
Yeah. So we're going through a very Dungeons and Dragons themed video. So I thought or I think that was one. Yeah, that's one I sent.
Yeah, this is one you shared.
To where okay,
it's ironic given both of us. I'm sorry, that's me.
Man, I was trying to have a fun thing. I was trying to add something fun. Okay.
It is fun. I like this guy. I've seen him on. I don't have TikTok, but they appear on Facebook and YouTube. Yeah. I've seen him. He's very positive. His name is Steven Hyun.
Yeah.
Or Steve Hyun.
Or maybe Hwin. I think there's a character on Hey Arnold who has a name I think similar to that, and he would always say, "It's Hwin. My name is Hwin."
It's... Yeah. Okay, well, that didn't work.
I don't know, but so it could go either way. You might have seen him already on either Facebook or TikTok.
He's very positive, and he's not judgmental. But basically, he has found a way to combine two of his favorite hobbies, D&D and fitness. Mm-hmm. The Manual of Gainful Exercise is a fitness guide he has written. And it's got various workouts inspired and named after various subclasses in Dungeons and Dragons 5th edition. It's very adorable how these are organized because they're organized by those subclasses. Nice. And then by challenge ratings on a scale of 1 to 20. 1 being a beginner and 20 for the more experienced. Yeah. It's just very cute, and I think it will get some people moving.
Well, I think now I'm not going to try and blanket the entire workout culture, workout community, but there are certainly some figureheads in the bodybuilding community that's getting a bit more toxic, going over the years. The certain alpha bros. Again, that's not speaking for
Whoa, you mean Andrew Tate?
I was hoping we not go down that route, but yes, guys like Andrew Tate that are just
alpha males
meant to just stir up toxicity and give teenagers the worst ideas of what a man is and everything. And I feel like guys like Stephen Hwin are just trying to be as positive and just as accepting as humanly possible.
And it's uplifting. He doesn't judge. He doesn't ever say, hey, this is only for such and such, and he's like, if you can't do a full push-up, you can do it this way. It's very just accessible.
And we need more of that. We don't need guys that are just so judgmental and are just trying to gatekeep. We need guys to be
opening the gates.
Yeah, open-minded and be willing to figure out ways how to help people, because not everybody's going to figure out how to work out or figure out a routine the same as another person. All right? We are all snowflakes, and there's nothing wrong with that, despite what certain people will tell you.
Those certain people being, some of the snowflakiest people out there. We're all unique in our own special way.
Yeah.
And when everyone's unique, no one is. Oh my god. All right, so let's talk about Wizards of the Coast.
Yep, it's going to be an all-nighter, dude.
So I'm sure, the three of you who are watching this have heard about the Dungeons and Dragons open game license. This basically allows creators to make homebrew content, sell D&D modules, and it lets them do it legally, using the system. Wizards of the Coast, which is owned by Hasbro, mind you, that's important.
Yeah.
Revealed the details of its OGL on Friday. So, OGL 1.1, it was leaked, and people are not happy.
Nah, certainly voices were heard.
Voices were heard. Oh my god, were they heard.
Oh, yes.
So, third-party publishers have a 25% royalty payout for revenues over $7,500, and a copyright clause that sees ownership of content over to Wizards of the Coast. And many members of the community were in an uproar.
were they
Several game publishers announced plans to stop creating D&D content and to focus on their own system. There was a lot of boycotting, canceling D&D Beyond subscriptions to the point where the subscription management page for the whole site went down for a while. That's how much traffic was directed. People are going to boycott the D&D movie. People are just not happy about this in general. It even led to Wizards of the Coast canceling not one, but 2 announcements concerning the OGL they were going to do last week. So, what do? They
backtrack,
They
backtrack. Gotta change these rules pretty soon.
My God. So, let me find it. So, they announced that the OGL will contain the provisions so that it only covers content for tabletop RPGs. So other expressions, such as educational and charitable campaigns, live streams, cosplay, virtual tabletop uses, and more, will remain unaffected by any OGL update. Content already released under 1.0a will also remain unaffected. So, fan content is allowed, I guess. And basically, the OGL will not contain any royalty structure. Any language we put down will be crystal clear and unequivocal on that point. The license-backed language was intended to protect us and our partners from creators who incorrectly allege that we steal their works simply because of coincidental similarities. So, basically, Hasbro is just trying to cover its butt. The big thing to take away from this is that Wizards of the Coast is kind of backing away a little bit. They can't completely back down now. They've gone too far. But they're like, okay, give us a chance to make this right because we screwed up.
Okay,
I know that was a lot. I
well,
apologize.
no. Look, okay, so I'm gonna say some things that may make other people mad about me, but in retrospective, what Wizards of the Coast and for the most part Hasbro is letting people do with the Dungeons & Dragons franchise, with this whole IP, is giving them far more liberties than many other franchises would. Especially when it comes to, nobody's going to be allowed to make a Batman or Spider-Man story and sell it anywhere without, Marvel or DC going right after them. Okay? So, I do have to say, well, yes, certainly some of the rules that were being implemented I felt was going a little too extreme. I have to say, at the same time, given more chances to create stuff with this IP that you love more so than many other IPs and franchises are letting you do.
They want to mostly avoid people just throwing the name Dungeons and Dragons on something and selling it, making a profit off of their IP, which is understandable. Yeah. It's just for the people who actually create content and do it as a living, it felt like a threat to their livelihood, which is understandable.
Yeah.
So both sides, I feel like Hasbro is at fault, but not completely. Their fault is understandable. They just took it a bit too far.
Yeah,
they should have some sort of thing where you register with Wizards of the Coast or something.
That's what I was about to say.
Nintendo used to have a partnership program.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
No,
I'm sorry.
No, fine. It's just I was trying to say I'm trying to see. I know probably just saying I'm trying to see things at both sides doesn't certainly get people angry at me just for that sake. But I honestly feel like I understand what the Wizards of the Coast, the Hasbro people are trying to do, and I understand what the fans, how they feel about all this. And I would like to find some kind of middle ground in which You know, fans can still feel safe about creating new content, doing things with the property they love so dearly, and also Wizard of the Coast and Hasbro can gain a little bit of profit and also be able to protect this IP because, as you said, there's a new movie coming out and there's going to be TV shows based on whatever they're doing with Dungeons & Dragons. They want to make sure that like any just thing that they can control, that so long as they can find some way to maintain and control the idea of Dungeons & Dragons without it steering too far into something, and also trying to make sure that nobody does anything with Dungeons & Dragons and makes it any harmful, hateful content off of it.
Yeah, or makes, you know, cheap dollar store content, for example. You know, stuff that is lacking in substance or harms the IP, not because it's hateful, but because it just is sloppy.
Yeah.
And, oh man, I had it in my brain and then I lost it. It'll come back if it's important.
And as for, like, and as I said, we just got a bunch of news of like Wizard of the Coast trying to dial back some of their rules they were about to implement because of the backlash. But I truly think that this would not have affected the movie all that much. Like, maybe there would have been some like hardcore D&D fans may have said, "No, I'm not going to watch that movie." This movie has Chris Pratt, you know, and a bunch of other big name stars to it. It would have drawn some audiences. It would have drawn the casuals.
Yeah.
You know, our families would have gone to see it.
Yeah.
No matter what.
Oh, it's also really cool to see Dungeons and Dragons. Oh my God, starter kits in Walmart.
Yeah.
It's very cool to see that.
Yeah.
In the toy aisle. So you know.
And again, it's like Dungeons and Dragons is so accepted and so embraced nowadays by mainstream media, by just casuals out there. Now, granted, I'm not old enough to remember the big scare, the satanic panic from the 80s, but clearly it was still something that my parents were still thinking about when I was a kid because they were hearing stories or they heard rumors about people killing themselves through a D&D game or whatever, and they were scared to have me get involved with it. Thankfully, when I got to a teenager, they learned wisely. They learned, oh, that was all made up and all BS. So I got more involved with D&D later on. So it's like that whole mentality, that whole toxic mentality, or that satanic pex creed, that's mostly gone. You know, for the most part. You know, there's a few crazies out there trying to stir up something, but like they're thankfully in the very, very small minority. Yeah. So, like I said, D&D has certainly come a long way.
Yes, and so has the world as a whole.
Yeah.
And I think it's come a long way in a positive way with society.
Yeah. So got a long way to go.
But we're getting there.
Yeah. I believe so.
So, Pokemon.
All right. We're born to have a story, Pokemon story.
Has a TikTok account. And with that sentence, most of you know what I'm talking about.
Oh, man. I have a TikTok account. I don't go on to it that often, but I was thankful I found this video because it is pretty funny. But I understand why it had to be taken down.
So, we obviously can't show it or play the audio. But if you know the song, If You're Happy and You Know It, Clap Your Hands, and you've been on the internet for 5 seconds, then you know the mother-loving word that is thrown in there in one remix. Well, there was a video featuring Pikachu and Lucario, and Lucario was like completely stoic this whole time.
That's what made the video for me. He did not react one bit to this.
So Pikachu is, when it says to clap your hands, it slaps Lucario's hand, like, you know, high five. It does this in perfect rhythm with the Mother Lovin' remix, to the point where it's deliberate. Like, there's no way this was an accident with the timing. And it was posted. And then, of course, it was removed. Of course, it's been saved. And I highly encourage you to seek it out on your own. Man. Because it is well worth the watch.
It's so good.
And a lot of people and we've come to the same conclusion. It's probably because in Japan, a lot of people don't understand that swear words in America have such negative connotations. You will see kids wearing shirts that say, like, I'm too drunk for this and it's just the funniest thing because it's just a casual t-shirt over there. And I love it. I really do. I think it's the funniest thing. And, like, you don't have to understand what they're saying in order to get the rhythm correct. So it could have been like, oh, this is a popular song on TikTok. Let's do it. You know, they're killing the social media game, but not in the way they want.
Oh, keep going. Just whatever you're doing, Japanese, Pokemon, TikTok, keep going. Pick all the sweariest, most nastiest songs you find here in America.
No, don't do that.
At least for me. Send to me privately. DM me. Send me cool videos with those kind of music, and
Here's
I'll
his email address. So.
Because that was good.
We've got
okay. One more. We got one more story.
One more story,
Yes.
and this one's a cute one.
Yeah.
I thought this would be nice to leave on.
Mm-hmm.
So.
About an actual video game.
Yeah, it's about video games.
Sorry.
So, a user on Reddit called Chris Reed wrote the following post. My grandmother's game collection. We're not sure if she knew how to overwrite existing game files. So, their grandma had a very extensive collection of Game Boy SPs. Like, in this picture alone, there are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19 Game Boy Advance SPs, 1 Game Boy Color, and I'm pretty sure there's some other stuff in the back. And then there are, where is it?
It was like Wario Land 4 or something. It was like most of those games. Like, I'm just trying to, I briefly saw like what kind of games they were, but
so there were 26 copies of Wario Land 4 and 13 copies of Mario Pinball Land. It's also really cute because their grandma also left a number of tutorials from online websites printed on paper, as well as messages for her grandchildren explaining the games. It's just very wholesome.
I know.
Because they think that she bought so many copies because she didn't know that she could save over. And it's very cute.
Hey, at least she loved those games that much. Just keep buying copies, you know?
And Wario Land 4 is a good game.
Yeah.
It's fun.
Actually, I haven't played much of the Wario Land games, so
they're pretty solid. They got puzzle aspects, which is why I like them so much.
Okay, so might one day play for the channel, maybe. You know?
Never.
This will ask his grandma. We'll ask his nice little lady. Let us have a copy.
She's dead.
Oh man, I didn't mean to bring it there. I'm sorry.
Yeah, unfortunately she passed, and this was kind of their, like, you know, inheritance type deal. And it's just, you know, it was very bittersweet for the user because their grandmother's no longer there. And obviously they loved their grandchildren. So, you know, rest in peace, Grandma. And that is going to do it for us this week. Not a whole lot of news. PS5 did get a console update. Cool. That's pretty much it.
I do hope to get PS5 before the year's over, but I got too much things on my mind for that right now. Just put it out there.
I did pick up a copy of, it's a new version of Clue, and I love Clue.
Yeah.
It has escape room elements. And it's cool because it supports players, you know, up to 6. Or just one player. And that's just cool to me because, you know, that means I can play it by myself. Of course, I want to play it with friends. You know, you and Xander.
I won't say anything.
Oh my God. Anyway, thank you for watching, as always. And if you want to keep updated with news, you know, not when it happens, but about a week after it happens.
Yeah.
Leave a subscription at our door. That sentence kind of got away from me. But yes,
We're keeping it old school.
subscribe, like, hit that bell, or don't. I'm not your dad. And until next time, stay cool.
Roll 20 for 100 views.